Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Modern Customer Podcast. I'm your host, Blake Morgan. Today, our guest is Liz Carter, Chief Marketing Officer for Reputation. Liz is an accomplished marketing and communications executive with over 20 years of experience in developing and executing successful brand strategies for leading companies. As Chief Marketing Officer at Reputation, Liz is passionate about helping businesses build their online reputation and drive growth. She is thrilled to discuss Reputation's first ever National Leave a Review Day with me on this podcast. The day takes place June 8th. She wants to encourage customers to share their feedback and experiences with businesses. During our conversation, Liz will talk about the importance of customer feedback and how businesses can use it to improve their online reputation, attract more customers, and foster loyalty. Reputation is the sponsor of the Modern Customer Podcast today. Liz, welcome to the Modern Customer Podcast. Are you in the Bay Area today?
Yes, I am. I am in San Ramon, so the East Bay of the Bay Area.
And I'll be meeting you next week in Austin at Reputation's event. Are you excited to get this thing going?
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. I mean, it's my favorite event of the year for any company that I've worked with. So I'm thrilled. I'm ready. I'm at that stage where I'm ready for the event to just happen, to be here, get going, and meet a lot of our customers in person.
So for everybody listening and watching, we have all heard of Reputation.com, such a smart company name, like so ahead of its time. Can you just talk about what Reputation.com does, and then we'll get a little bit more into you?
Absolutely. Yes. So Reputation works with customers to really help them put customer feedback to work in their business. And we help customers. We've been around for, over a decade and really started in that online reputation management when that was sort of something new, right? People recognizing that there was, an ability for customers to understand the kind of customer experience they were going to get from a brand or from a hospital, and start making decisions based on that, right? And I think we were one of the first to really sort of help companies manage their reputation. And I think as technology has evolved and as the digital era has evolved, we've really sort of broadened our scope to help companies really have a sort of feedback system of record, as we like to call it. So something where you can go and really get all the types of feedback that you're getting from your customers, whether that's in reviews or whether that's in surveys that you may be sending out, and understanding that and then putting that to work, right? You can leverage that information across your business to make real impact.
Okay, so the product has evolved to look more at customer insights.
Absolutely. Yes. It's really about, getting control of that new customer journey. I mean, today's customer or consumer or patient spends so much more time online, evaluating products and services before they make a purchasing decision. And for a lot of that, they're not talking to you, to your business, right? They're doing research, they're looking at reviews. I think we saw a stat recently that customers, 75% of customers look at 1 to 6 reviews before making a purchasing decision, and that's something that some companies don't even really feel like they have control over, and if you're not asking customers to leave a review, then you're missing out on that sort of silent majority of people that might have had a great experience but didn't choose to share it, online.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of, what is this thing I'm hearing about called National Leave a Review Day? How did this get started?
Well, I'm so excited about it. I'm thrilled that Reputation can be a champion for this. So we saw that, reviews are a huge part of our business and what we do to help support our customers. But for our customers, reviews are extremely important to their business, right? It's important for them to know. And so we actually submitted to the National Archives that there should be a National Leave a Review Day, that there is such importance around all of us understanding the value of leaving a review and taking the time to explain, whatever your experience was, gives a business an ability to react to that, right? To take that feedback and understand what that is. We just thought it was a great opportunity to highlight something for not just for us, but for our customers and their customers, and I think we should all take more advantage of the opportunity to do that. I don't know about you, Blake, but, I actually would say that I am very spotty on leaving reviews. But as I've gotten into reputation and I've become more of a believer, I think there's a real power that we have as consumers to express sort of the experience that we have and give businesses the ability to react to that.
I think that people leave reviews when they're really happy or really upset, but not just like content. One of the things that we have to talk about before we get more into this, what is the date of National Leave a Review Day?
Great question. It is, it's June 8th. So it's coming up pretty soon. And I think the hope is that we, have this national day. We have companies and businesses that want to take part in it. I mean, I don't know, I live in a sort of smaller town in the East Bay, and a lot of our downtown stores are always about shopping local, right? And just and they want you to leave a review or to post on social about your experience there, right? To just get more people going to the local shops and stores. That's on a very small level, something really important and impactful. And I think that, any type of business, even in software and tech, can take advantage, right? Like we're actually partnering with G2 to be a part of National Leave a Review Day. And, they're out there, people are reviewing software that they use in their business, and that's a very different use case than what our customers are doing, which are customers that have multi-locations, and they're trying to, understand and create a customer experience that is the same at each location and basically take advantage of, understanding how they can evolve, one store's experience based on another store, its experience and how well it's doing, right? But G2 is, excited about this opportunity as well and saying like, hey, reviewing software and for businesses to understand, I'm a CMO, we're going to buy technology. We look at G2 to say, what kind of reviews does this software get? Are people leveraging it and getting something out of it? There's just so much value in all of that.
Absolutely. I mean, I look at reviews all the time. I'm sure our audience do too. When I need to figure out like the size, like my son, I know you have kids too, Liz. My son is almost 3, but like none of the pants fit him. Like they're always too long. And so like today, like I don't like the pants he's wearing to school, but I didn't have time. I have to go find the pants that fit his little legs because he's not quite 3, but he's not 2. And so I'll read reviews on, let's say, Amazon to see, okay, how much did the kid that bought these pants, how much did they weigh? Like how many inches were their legs? And like the places where the brand actually doesn't describe the experience accurately, I rely on fellow consumers to describe an experience so I know if it's a good fit for me. So actually customers are helping paint the full picture of the experience or the product for the brand. But it is, I don't leave I don't leave hardly any reviews unless I'm really happy or trying to help someone or like a brand really did a really bad boo-boo. So it's like, how do we hit the middle, the people that are just content?
That's exactly right. And I think, for reputation, we work with our customers, we provide software and solutions and services to help them sort of request reviews, right? And make it a part of, that customer journey so that you have an opportunity to do that or think about it at a time where you had a good experience. It wasn't, it didn't blow you away. It didn't it wasn't awful, but like actually allow you to give that feedback, right? And those reviews actually, depending on what kind of business you are, I mean, in Google, there are all these algorithms in the background that, if you have a certain number of reviews, you fall higher on the search categories and things like that, right? It allows businesses to actually show up. And that's super important, in today's environment. And also I was thinking about your example. Think about the manufacturer of that piece of clothing, right? They may not understand how important it is for moms to understand this like difference in sizing, right? I mean, maybe there's something they could be doing about sizing today, or sizing charts they could make available for parents so they can figure these things out. I know what you're talking about, and I've been there. I mean, I've got, daughters, and one of them has always been on the like 7%, size scale. And so it's been hard to find, like, she's still in sixes in some things. I mean, it's just like it varies so differently by manufacturer of like what's going to fit her, and if companies are taking in that feedback and understanding that, they can actually react to it, and maybe make something more easier for a buyer to understand.
So you are CMO and you know a lot about data. I've heard that some business leaders make the mistake of relying too much on data and they're not actually getting the insights out of it that they should. Do you have any advice for our listeners and viewers, especially marketers that want to do a better job of understanding what's actually happening with their customers and the data that they have to work with now? Do you have any tips?
It's a great question. I think it's a tricky one, and I mean, I think about us in our own business, and we're trying to get our arms around the data and what to trust, like what data to actually trust. I think that, I guess what I would say is that it can't be a singular effort, right? So what I need out of data is important, but what my peers or other folks across the team is equally as important. And we kind of all have to come together and recognize that, right? And so I would just say that I think data can feel very overwhelming. But I think that you have to work across your teams and businesses to get the most out of your data. And it's really, then that's where tools and systems come into play, right? Technology has evolved so much. There's a lot of products and technology that out there that can help you with this. But I totally agree. You need to have a tool and a system for which you trust, when it comes to data. And I think you have to get more people involved and sort of unify your business around that data, right? So that you're all equally invested in keeping it clean and dynamic and driving insights, across your organization.
Absolutely. And I think one of the big things that is so important if you want to create a customer-focused culture is sharing the data up and out to see what is actually happening on the ground with customers every day. Do you have any examples or ways that you would encourage our listeners and viewers to do this in a really compelling way, the storytelling of the data, if you will?
Yes, I mean, I think that is the ultimate goal, right? Like the voice of the customer is so important in any business. And if you are not using the voice of the customer and helping you make decisions about your business, then you're probably not meeting your customer where they are, right? And so I think it is super important. We at Reputation, we have something we call Rep Rockstars, where our team really looks to get the stories out of our customers, understand how they're using our products, and then serving that back out to our field, to our sales team as they're like selling into new customers. Look at how this customer did, X, Y, and Z, right? I think it's so important to leverage those stories and to share them back. Next week, we talked about, which is our user conference, Transform. It's all about sharing customer stories. It is really about our customers learning from each other and what they're doing. And I think those environments, creating those environments for your business is so important. And whatever kind of business you are, making sure you get those stories out there, whether that's, in social or in your collaboration channels that you probably have if you're at a technology company like I am, and ensuring you're sharing those stories over and over again of successes and of wins, and even of moments where maybe you didn't perform the way you wanted to, but you need to learn from that and not be afraid of it, and figure out how to use that to to do something different next time.
Liz, one of the things you and I have chatted about on the phone prior to doing the podcast is just talking about the new role of the CMO and the role of the modern marketer, and how the modern marketer has to be a bit of a customer strategist and understand how to basically evolve and grow within your own customer base. Is that something you feel comfortable talking about now, about the modern marketer and the way they need to pivot to be more of a customer strategist?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so marketing is a career and a job that I feel like I always say I sort of fell into. And I happened upon. I started in event marketing at a technology company, and learned through building and creating these big brand moments for a specific company and their customers, and at trade shows and things like that. I think that as I evolved in my career and I learned more and more about marketing, it was a very brand heavy focus in the very beginning. And then as tools and technologies like CRM systems and ERPs evolved and went to the cloud, and there was more data and people were, crunching more things, marketing became more about data, right? And making decisions about where are your customers coming from? How are you getting them through your buying cycle? And how are you then repeating that process over and over again, right? And that was sort of the demand gen engine era. And not that we've moved away from that at all, but I think that now, marketers, even in today's environment where we're saying do more with less,
Yes.
get more out of the customers you have today. Marketers are now being said, like, we have to also help own that customer retention and advocacy and loyalty part of the business, right? And it's not the same as sort of the demand engine on the front end of, the sort of general marketing and sales funnel, right? It's a different process. And so I think you have to take some time to really figure out what that is, and like I said, we were saying in the very beginning of this conversation, customers are leading their own buyer's journey, right? They're doing so much research, they're showing up. So you've got to really take some time to figure out, how do you show up where they are in the way that you want to? And what is that experience like for those customers? And therefore, how do you optimize and maximize that experience, right? And leverage what you're learning throughout that. So I really think that's, it's sort of creating a new engine, around that sort of customer experience.
Do you think that CMOs should really start to expand their thinking about their own title and maybe think, well, maybe I am the chief customer officer as well?
I wouldn't be, I wouldn't claim to drive, things in that way necessarily. I've heard like people talk more about chief customer officers. I mean, customer support teams, and, there's so many different parts of businesses that drive those customer interactions. I'm not necessarily saying the marketer needs to own all of that, but I am saying that you've got to unify your business in a way that allows marketers to be a part of that journey and to be supportive in ways depending on how your business is set up. I think that to me, it's not necessarily about ownership. It's definitely about partnership, and I think that companies, as they grow and evolve, sometimes create silos, and they don't recognize that, this team is running in that direction and this team is going in that direction. And whereas, like, if you could all sit down and think about the data that brings you all together and the decisions you need to make as a team, it doesn't really matter who owns it as much as like marketers have a lot of insights into their customer journey, right? And I think that, and we're being asked to leverage those insights to do more with the customer. So you need to have access and you need to be involved and you all need to be connected in a way that makes sense for your business.
I think the most important word that you shared is unify. And we still struggle with this word across business. And you know that most businesses are not unified because most customer experiences are not seamless and zero friction and unified. So have you seen companies achieve that unification when they were not unified prior?
Absolutely. And in fact, my previous company before I came to Reputation, which I've now been CMO for almost 6 months, which is so exciting. And it's been so fun. Yeah, thank you. It's been so fun to be a part of. But my previous experience, I was there for 11 years. And in that, in that sort of growth trajectory of a company and story, you go through a lot of change and evolution. And there was a period of time where we were very disconnected within the business. And I think that, there was a new CEO that came in and saw that and sort of put someone on it for a period of time. That person, this sort of ran customer experience and marketing at the time. So kind of like what you talked about, was running both. But there was like a period of time where we really inspected the customer journey, and the company rallied behind two key core concepts, which were win together and customer obsessed. And like, that was it. These are the two concepts. You're going to run your business win together, which means you all have to communicate, and customer obsessed. Every decision you make should be with the customer in mind. And when you make things that simple and you put someone in charge that brings the teams together, we created an environment where we really kind of changed the business, and we changed, the way in which I think we broke down the silos that had existed. And that role of chief customer experience officer didn't exist forever. But it did in order to rally the company around those sort of concepts and sort of get us on the right path. And then you can grow and evolve from there.
Well, I have to ask, were there changes to how you were managed when they turned to you have to make decisions all together? Like the way employees knew that they were successful, their metrics, did that change?
Of course, yes. There was definitely change. I think that what I would say I saw and was a part of was, it was hard at first to collaborate sometimes, right? Because you kind of knew it was going to slow you down, and you knew it was going to mean more conversations, and maybe things weren't going to you had an idea of how things were going to go, and now you had like 5 other voices that were going to be involved in that decision, right? And so that's a big change, and that can be hard when you want to move fast and you want to make quick decisions. And I think that what I saw was once you get into that habit, it becomes second nature, and you're all more connected in a way that allows you to operate more efficiently and effectively. And then it's like second nature, right? The customer's at the center of everything. You all are more connected. So it's not like the process to change was really tough, but once we made that change, it didn't feel tough anymore.
Absolutely. So we're talking today about National Leave of Review Day. If businesses that want to support the customer experience industry, they want to get involved with their own employees, do you have any advice for them? Like would that be every employee write a review today in celebration of National Leave of Review Day?
I mean, I think so. Absolutely. That's to me, I think a couple things. I think we want to highlight the importance of reviews in general. I think it is impactful to businesses. It's economically impactful. It helps businesses grow and thrive and change in the ways that they need to evolve, right? So it's almost it's almost something that we should want to do, right? In order to enable businesses to really do those things, to grow, to change, to evolve. So I'm hoping that we can really just create some momentum around how important reviews are. My CEO asked me, should we start a review revolution? Like, is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I love that.
I know, I love it too. I think we want people to really understand and respect that they have a voice. And right now, like, I think there's to your point of view, there's like this horrible experience. People feel very comfortable getting on and giving a review in that way. And maybe when there's a great experience, they do the same. I think actually research shows more people give negative reviews than positive reviews.
Oh, okay.
But I think that when asked, I think if we get into a habit of taking the opportunity to do that for companies, you're giving those businesses the ability to make a change and to react. And I would encourage companies that have customers like this to take advantage of those reviews as well, right? That's an opportunity to engage with your customer, to really understand the experience that they're having, and to take action on, kind of the insights that you could gain from that.
So, Liz, today we've talked a lot about the importance of leaving reviews. We've talked about the marketer's role in customer strategy. We've talked about the importance of data and sharing data across silos. And we've covered a lot. I think it's time to have some fun so my audience can get to know you a little bit. Are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
I think so. Let's do it.
All right, Liz, what does your morning routine look like?
Oh, first of all, I snooze somewhere between 2 to 5 times. And then I get up, and while I'm getting ready, my girls, I have 2 daughters, they're also getting ready for school. So it's sort of quite active. But I try to listen to a podcast while I sort of do my morning routine. So I'm always listening to a podcast or two and intermittently helping my girls get ready for school. So that's kind of my morning, and it depends on when my meetings start as to how involved I can be in the morning process with my girls. But it's very busy.
Do you have a unique leadership hack that helped get you to where you are today?
That's a great question. I don't know that I have a hack, except to say that, my management style is it sort of evolves depending on the person that I'm working with, and what it is that I think they need in sort of any moment. I actually think I got a piece of advice one time from someone who said, Liz, you need to hire for the person that would replace you someday. That's how you really can grow. And I thought that was super interesting. And he sort of meant, like, don't be challenged by someone that has a lot of experience, because I was sort of hiring for a role, and I was actually considering bringing someone in that I felt like could be considered having more experience than me. And they were like, don't be afraid of that, and it was so true. Actually, it really helped me sort of understand how to grow and evolve.
What do you do to relax at the end of a hectic day?
Okay, I watch British mysteries. I subscribe to Amazon Prime Video, and I'm a BritBox subscriber, and I love British mysteries because they seem far away enough and sort of like quirky enough to not really be real. I don't want to get too real or nervous about like mysteries, but I just love them so much. That's how I totally chill out when I come home.
What's your idea of perfect happiness?
Oh my goodness, perfect happiness. I just love my husband and I love to cook. My husband went to culinary school, and so like cooking a meal together with our kids and maybe having friends over, like nothing better than that. I think that's perfect happiness to me.
What is one mental health strategy for managing hard days?
I would say this is probably different for everybody. We got a dog during the pandemic, and taking him for a walk like I mentioned, listening to podcasts. I listen to podcasts and I take him for a walk and I have sort of me time is really important. And maybe I can't always take him for a walk, but even like that sitting down to watch a British mystery where I can like tune out or turn my mind off for a minute, whether that's listening to a podcast, watching a show, taking a walk, like those things for me are really important. Just finding that time that I need to not be distracted.
I love that. What is your favorite type of vacation?
Oh, goodness. Favorite type of vacation. I grew up in North Carolina, and we would go to the mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains every summer. And I just love that environment, like going somewhere that is quiet and it's not in the like rat race of like a million things you need to do. Like I love the idea of exploring new countries and all kinds of things, but the idea of going somewhere that's slow paced and beautiful and gorgeous scenery, like that to me is actually what I would call a vacation.
If you had to describe your life in one quick motto, what would it be? I feel like you could turn around and like read what's behind you on the wall. Like
I do. I have work hard, make it happen, and stay positive. I think like stay positive to me is just like, if I think about anything that I tell my kids all the time is just, trying to be positive and a light in the world. Like that's what I want to do.
It's everything. I love that. Well, speaking of being positive and being a light in the world, let's go back to National Leave a Review Day. Everybody watching and listening, please, if you can, June 8th, leave a review with what hashtag, Liz?
Hashtag leave a review.
Good. Perfect.
I love it. Yes.
Hashtag leave a review. And Liz, if people want to learn more about Reputation, what a silly question for me to ask you, right? Like, I'll ask you to say it. Where would they go?
Reputation.com has all you need to know. We would love to hear from you. And we're excited about National Leave a Review Day. We will certainly be promoting it this year and following. But really appreciate you having us on your show, Blake.
Absolutely, Liz. It's always really, really nice to chat with you. I'm so excited to meet you in person next week in Austin. Everybody, hashtag leave a review. I'm going to leave a review June 8th as well, potentially for this suit jacket that I'm wearing that I bought online. So, and all of you need to leave a review too. Thank you for tuning into the Modern Customer Podcast. Until next time.